Thank you so much, everybody, for showing up tonight. We had a really good turnout last time. We talked a lot. We came up with some good ideas. There's a lot of needs that we're excited to share some possible solutions for this time. We've pulled together, there's a great group of people that have already volunteered to help. We've got some really exciting news that Em's going to share with you soon. I want to shout out Emily Beal, Ali Breitbach, Marianne Jeff Clark, Saba Desta, Michelle Doherty, Michael Drummond, Bibi Airbag, Audra Harold, Fikret Karajic, Hannah Kleiman, Emily Lane, Chris Lintz, Hadley Robinson, Mary Rupert Stroskew, Rose Spalding, and Stacy Whitfler. They've all signed up. They're all starting to get involved with what you're going to hear about here. This is a community. Everyone pitches in. We all solve things together. They've just kind of started and weighed in with some really good ideas. And once you hear about what's happening, we hope the rest of you will fill in. We've got some really tight timelines on some exciting opportunities. So I'm going to turn it over to Emily and let her go from here.
I'm just curious why you didn't have the baby up here with you. You would have had faster attention. Well, we have a lot of returning faces. Thank you for coming back, and we have some new ones. So really quickly, I just want to share with you United Coulture. United Coulture is a community that we started actually during COVID. We recognized that during this time, businesses were letting their amazing creative teams go left and right. And we thought that that was such a disservice because the creative teams are the ones that actually harness the vision of the company, and they're the ones that build that connection with their audience. And we thought, oh my gosh, what can we do to make sure that we keep that talent engaged, provide opportunity? So we started United Coulture. And over the last 5 years, we've seen an opportunity to expand on just plugging artists into opportunity. We want to help this community grow individually in their skill set, in their individual presence, and just make it a healthier ecosystem altogether. So our meeting that we had 2 months ago now, we engaged the first round of people that came. We had about 100 people here, and we got feedback. Everyone said, you know, these are the things I'm challenged with. I am challenged with the fact that I wear so many hats. I am a creator, I'm a marketer, I'm a distributor, I have to do an accountant. How many creators are actually good at numbers? Good for you. And we recognized that we need to develop an ecosystem that help people remove all of those hats. We learned that there's this desire for skill growth. You know, in talking to designers, not everybody knows how to do grade rules. Not everybody understands how to do direct-to-consumer marketing. Not everybody knows how to build a really good assortment plan to look good in a retail environment. There's just so many things that are a part of the formula of success. So we heard from everybody. We need education. We need mentorship. We need increased opportunities to sell. We need a collaborative environment that isn't self-serving. And we need to let some of those hats down. So that is why we're here tonight. Tonight, we're going to share with you some of the things that we've put in place to help solve those problems we talked about last time, and share with you insights on our wonderful e-commerce platform under development, market opportunities to expand your presence. We've developed a really wonderful showcase that includes everybody, not just designers. Everybody can be a part of this showcase. We are developing educational programs, which tonight we are officially launching with our incredible speaker. Sorry about that. So, with that, I want to invite our first guest to the stage, Fikret. Karajek, did I do that right? I did get coaching on that last name. So Vikret was one of the first to the table when he said, I want to help. He has a wonderful partner that is a creative in the industry. He is a complete genius in the online space, wonderful marketer. And he is coming to the table with an e-commerce solution to support everybody here. So I'll let him tell you what he's got going on. So you just...
Yeah, so Fikret Karadzic, founder of Karoscope.com. So I started a software tech company from my previous experience of just creating software tech solutions that ultimately better people's lives, especially St. Louis is a big focus of mine. So I met with Brett a while back and I heard about United Coulture and I thought that was really cool. It wasn't something I set out to do, but hearing the vision, hearing the impact it could do and just the challenges that are in the fashion community and the local business community, I think there was a real opportunity to grow there. So we talked about and brainstormed about how can we leverage software tech to try to unify this, because the big problem was you have, let's just say, in the St. Louis region, anywhere from a couple hundred small businesses, fashion designers that are emerging. You have a lot of siloed efforts. That's a lot of websites, it's a lot of e-commerce platforms, and all of them are effectively dealing with the multiple hats every day. So you have a fractional, need there that is not being met. So, you got someone that maybe puts a couple hours of marketing each week, someone that puts zero effort on SEO, doesn't have the budget, that doesn't have the time. So we were brainstorming about a concept of how do we potentially get rid of that problem. The idea that we came to fruition was, what if we could create a platform that could unify all small businesses and shoppers, for that matter, into one niche, specialized for the local designers. So you would effectively have one main website that anyone can shop at, no matter what. So effectively, like an eBay and Amazon and all that, but specifically tailored for this audience of people that are interested in independent fashion, creativeness. They're not looking for the mainstream products, and even more in general of getting this connection to the local designers in their communities, or just discovering new ones that they haven't seen before, that they like to be with. So on phase one, what we're showing here is just some conceptual idea of what that could potentially look like. With the start being, you have one main site that would be the focus of where the marketing goes, the SEO goes, the advertising. The designer just contributes a share, and they'd be able to feel that machine. So every designer chipping in little bits at a time goes into the massive pool, and then it's fueled by experts. It's fueled by marketers that know what they're doing. It's fueled by e-commerce specialists and content to make sure that happens. But the designer still has a microsite effectively. So their .com goes directly to that. It's their brand, it's their image, and they're completely separate from one another while also sharing the same backend. So I think it would be cool. So I got a little prototype here that we just built just for this event, just to show movement and show that, what this could potentially look like. There, so that's the first slide. So this could be an example of what the United Coulture homepage would look like. So this is my gut swag and my creative brush. So it is obviously subject to change in the future, but me not being from the fashion community, I still like aesthetic things. So I went for aesthetic, obviously, but the general idea here would be is a discovery site, effectively. That's what its main job is meant to do, is to look great. And you go on there, it's the thing that you can effectively syndicate to for the Google marketplaces, the Etsy stores, all over the place. You no longer have to do that. And people that land on that page can then discover these new brands. We can feature them, we can put content up on series, and doing all of that. And this is an example of what would happen, for example, of that microsite. So while that homepage that you just saw was very branded, to us, you can see that Michael Drummond, this is, it mimics a lot of what his current website looks like. He had a very minimalist site, and he was very fashionable in that, and this is exactly what his current site looks like, with a little bit of creative twist to it on my end, but that's one example of that. And this is something that would be what the new platform would look like behind the scenes. So typically what you see these days would be that you're using like Shopify, you're using some of these pre-built platforms out there. Problem is that when you're in the line of fashion, the whole idea is to break from the norm and the mold. You're creative. So what Shopify does is cookie cutter. It's really hard or expensive to get it to look great. So what I like to use is a technology called Framer. It's what some of the top designers are using these days for websites and platforms. This is a glimpse of the behind the scenes of what Framer looks like. And the cool thing about it is it's a very collaborative platform. So the platform you just saw on the United Coulture, we created something that syndicates to Shopify. So it can also connect to anything. So no matter what we really use, we can use Shopify to power the products. We can use Square. We can use anything. It doesn't really matter. It's agnostic because it is custom. So when we're creating a custom solution, which is fully custom code by me and my team, the limits are endless. So you can envision a future, where the platform behind the scenes, it doesn't necessarily need to look like an e-commerce platform. It could look like a portal to United Coulture, where you can see United Coulture events. You can see models to discover that want to sign up and be models. You can see VIP customers that want to participate, so they join the VIP club because they want to. You can enter within a few buttons. You can enter into a pool to be able to do an awesome VIP giveaway, where someone wins an awesome branded box that's United Coulture. They open it up, and it's a designer good. So something like this, just keep it fun, and they all contribute. There's a reason we can provide some value to those customers by participating on that. They have the first invitation or VIP events that they can meet the designers. We can host those events in that pool. And then everything is essentially being sustainably fed through profit share and all of that. So if you, in a normal, company starting up, you're spending, I don't know, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. But by the time you have your website, your branding, you have everything that you need to launch it by the first year, you're out a lot of money versus the amount that you can get, just by contributing to one platform that unifies all of this. We are the ones that then can take that into paid ads. We can take it into making sure we're ranked first on Google. We can take it to, be top placements and reviews on all of the big shopping websites. And then with the amount of velocity, if the platform were to cover, imagine the type of impact we can make once we have that establishment to be able to partner up with other brands and partner up with other websites, because now we have this pull, because we can say we have a network of X amount of designers and customers and all of that, and we can really make this an experience instead of just a e-commerce website, which is currently what the problem is. So I'll wrap that up. So hopefully that's the start of something like that. And hopefully that gets a lot of people excited just about the impact of what we can do at United Coulture just by getting a little creative and keep investing on it. Because I think, how long was it since we last had that event?
2 months.
Yeah, less than 2 months. We have a prototype of something that looks awesome already, so we can keep developing in this. We see where it goes.
Thank you, Fred. So everybody here is at the top of their game. We have an executive at Build-A-Bear. We have a Vogue photographer. We have, people that are designing for the most famous people in the world. I mean, we have the best of the best right here. And it's tough. A lot of us are on islands. So having a unified platform that can promote everybody is a wonderful thing. And the wonderful thing about Fikret is that he himself is like you. He is a tremendous talent. Very early in the software game and web world, he had a natural instinct for it. And we're very, very blessed to have him bring those skills to be able to promote all of our wonderful community in an online space. So thank you. We've talked a little bit about our plans for the online world, but now let's talk about our plans for the physical world. We have developed a concept called the Gilded Market. The Gilded Market is going to happen in 2 months. We kind of like that theme. Every 2 months, we're going to do something. Our plan is with the Gilded Market to have something that is more than a market. It's more than a fashion show. It's a full, multifaceted experience that showcases everybody in this community. And therefore, we have developed an event that combines opportunities for designers, artisans to showcase their wares in a market-like experience. We've created an experience to have holiday makeovers for people who want to look really good and come in and get dressed up and get a really fabulous photo. And that photo isn't going to be in a cheesy photo booth. It's going to be in a very Vogue, set-up, styled, curated experience. You're going to walk on set and feel like you are going to be on the front page of something memorable. We have model designer collaborations lined up, VIP shopping experiences, so people can pay extra to have a shopping Sherpa, take them around, take them to the various booths and showcases, and have an early shopping experience. We're gonna have, of course, a runway, and not just one, but a few. Lots of opportunity. So here's the down and dirty details. It's November 3rd through the 9th, and it is happening at the KPAC. How many here are familiar with KPAC? I know you are, Michelle. Okay, so this is a lot of people that don't know about KPAC, Kirkwood Performing Arts Center. We have strategically partnered with them because of so many reasons. One, it's glorious. It is this wonderful modern building, full of light, full of space, very generous. Look at this. This is lots of room for everybody to have conversations with their audiences. If you're a makeup artist and you want to have a preliminary conversation with who you're going to be dressing up, if you're a hair stylist, if you're a fashion designer that's getting commissioned to make a holiday or New Year's gown, you can sit and have wonderful conversations. Wonderful seating areas up here. We're planning an after party in this area. We've got the Black Box Theater, which is going to be the home of much of what we're doing. We're going to have our runway in this space, and on the counter side, you'll see this wonderful well-lit area, which is home to the market. We anticipate that we can fit 30 to 40 vendors in this space, and intentionally, we want it to be very diverse. We want all kinds of different arts and designers to be represented. We want it to be inclusive. And you know, the wonderful thing about Kirkwood is that it kind of bridges that gap between some of the challenges that we've had in the fashion community about hosting events in city St. Louis. A lot of times, county people don't want to come here. Well, now we're positioned in the middle of our space that welcomes both city and county. So that's very strategic for us. And guess what? Parking. I know some of you might have been challenged with that tonight. Thank you for managing that. But we felt that this would be a perfect partner for us because it's nicely positioned, they're a wonderful home, and they're very welcoming to this partnership. Right now, we have a few key events lined up. We have Tuesday, KPAC, they always have a coffee concert. It attracts a regular community of women who love to consider themselves fashionistas. They have a one-upsmanship kind of process every Tuesday. They're showing themselves off. And so this is great. We're going to be able to tag into that audience, have a wonderful Q&A panel after the coffee concert, and introduce them to a little preview of our market. On Wednesday, we're planning a little VIP cocktail party. And as well on Friday, when the opera is happening, because there is an opera happening on the main stage, we're going to be able to have a tiny little preview of the market on Friday before the opera comes in. Saturday is our full day experience. Full market is open. Fashion show at the end of the evening. One of the exciting things that's happening on Saturday is that the city of Kirkwood is also having a wine walk that day. This wine walk has, 30,000 RSVPs already? And it starts at KPAC. So we kick off our market with 30,000 people coming to get their wine. Fabulous, right? We wrap that whole day after the market with our fashion show. And that is at the end of the wine experience. I don't know, sometimes wine might, help inspire a little purchasing. I don't know. I think it's a good formula. And then Sunday is our final market day. So we have a really robust plan in place. It's coming together fast. I've always been somebody that is of the mindset that when things are right, they fall into place. And that's kind of what's happened here. We had our meeting 2 months ago, and we got all kinds of great feedback from everybody. And then all of a sudden, these incredible people stepped up to the table and said, I want to do this, I want to do that. And then all of a sudden, here we have this amazing partner to host an event. So that helps solve our in-person commerce strategy for this year. And we're going to help ensure the success of this because we've got great partners. KPAC, as I mentioned, they have a healthy email list of 10,000 people. We've got the Wine Walk of 30,000 people. We have the Kirkwood Chamber of Commerce that is already committed to saying, hey, we'll share this information with our 30,000 people. And then we have everybody here. We all have our people. So this is going to be well promoted. Submissions, we are going to open tonight. And at the end of this evening, I have a QR code we can share with everybody to help everybody submit. We really do have space for everybody. It's not just creators and designers. Like, we want the photographers there. We want the hair and makeup teams there. We want the models there. So we have that all set up. We'll make sure that that's available for everybody. We are also, by the way, committees. There's more than one way to participate in this. We have, as Brett noted, a healthy team already helping to make things happen, but there's room for everybody here. We've got marketing, sponsorships, fashion show, event coordination, market, volunteers, programming, education. If there's a committee, I haven't thought about it, let me know. But you're all welcome to this table. With that, before we get to our key speaker this evening, I have one final exciting thing to share with you. So we've talked about how we're going to help you online. We've talked about a really cool event to help you, meet up with local buyers. And now we have an opportunity for market expansion. Right now, I'm going to welcome AJ Weinberg with Live Launch to share with you what he is brewing up in Chicago.
Well, first off, thanks for having me. Happy to be here, happy to see a new audience. It's always good to meet new people and talk about my new and upcoming brand. I'm relatively new to the process. Brett and Emily I met just a few months ago, and I think there was an immediate connection, probably mainly because of Fulton Market. I think Brett mainly just wants to hang out there, but but otherwise, hopefully the project itself is something that interests people to come and see. Fulton Market District, West Loop, Chicago in 2006. You can picture me there. I was an intern at a interior design company in high school, and it was primarily a restaurant supply hub. So as you walk down the street, it was, this one sold cotton candy machines. This one sold pieces for restaurants to cook, and cookwares and housewares, etc. It has since changed. Right after that, it started to grow. Restaurant Row in Chicago has become such a target marketplace for people to come and see. There are 4 of the top 100 grossing restaurants in the world within a half block of my concept. There are places like, maybe some of you have heard of it, Girl and the Goat, Alinea Group, Aviary, Next, Gibson's, Italia, all of these restaurants that are just attracting people, attracting customers to the area. With that has since grown that area, grown it into this new marketplace of people where it's been, there are, since just a couple years ago, 2022, 6,500 new units of housing. There is 2 million square feet of office space just growing into this neighborhood for people to come see, come and live and work and eat. just right in this neighborhood. So with that, obviously what's followed is shopping. Leading the way, Warby Parker, the DTC darling, direct-to-consumer darling of everyone. Once they got funding, they were everywhere. They were in person, people trying things on, ordering from the store and having it delivered. But now it's places like Brooklinen, Allbirds, Madewell, Mallbon, all of these brands that, in my opinion, are aspirational for direct-to-consumer brands. That's where we all want to be. That's what people want to become. And I thought to myself, there needs to be a space for all of these people, for all these brands, for all these growing brands that have an inspiration to become a direct-to-consumer brand, a piece to grow their brand and meet a new top of funnel, meet a new place that maybe they haven't been. In the last year, there are a wealth of statistics saying in person is the way to go. We need to be in person. We need to be in front of people. We need to test products. We need to try them on. We need to see them. 40% of people are returning products because of poor fit. 60% of people want to feel products. They want to try them. They want to touch them. They want to see what it's about before they buy. So I'm trying to create a space that lends to those brands, that makes it so these brands have a place to go, that makes sense to brands. Not necessarily, the huge build-outs, the multi-hundred thousands of build-outs that are going to bring in people for a weekend and then they're going to leave. We want to grow brands. We want to make brands the center of attention, not necessarily one product or another. It's going to be the brand focus and their stories and what it's going to become. So for me, I'm building out this space in West Loop, in Fulton Market. These are my inspiration photos of my renderings, but we are trying to create a new inclusive space, easy to find new brands, to to show pop-ups where we can meet the brands where they are, where they don't have to be spending all year to be in front of clients, where if they're releasing new products at a 6 months rate, at a 3 months rate, they only need to be in front of people when those points are happening. We don't need to be showing product and paying rent and paying for shelf space and just spending money to spend money. So I'm trying to build out 11 kiosks. I'm putting together 11 kiosks that I will hopefully be able to curate with brands that work with each other, things that, we won't have one kind of brand or another. It's going to be fashion and tech. The Chicago Sky, the Chicago women's basketball team, they are opening a spot to get their activation. Their, women's basketball is a huge moment right now, and they want to meet new clients. They want to meet new customers, bring them into the space, and ultimately bring in new fans. They even took some convincing of, well, yes, you can sell t-shirts, you can sell jerseys, but really you want to grow your brand. And they're like, oh yeah, that's what we want. We want people to come in. They want to sell tickets. They want to have people come in every day and say, oh, the Sky game, this is what they did today. This is how great they are. We're not selling tickets. And that's what every brand should be, right? It's going to be, we're selling a feel, we're selling a story, we're selling what we want to see in the marketplace. And so this space, 11 kiosks at a time, 1 to 3 months, showcasing products when they make sense. So a golf brand, they're not going to be there right now. They're not selling golf clubs. Fashion brand that rotates products every 3 months maybe comes in for a month, showcases a product, but they don't need to continuously showcase a product to the same clientele every week. But this way, we're going to get new foot traffic. Each brand can work with each other to get new clients. For me, this is obviously an omni-channel approach. This is taking a lot of pieces from a lot of places, but this, to me, is where the mall needs to be. This is the new concept to me, what a mall should feel like, a place that we can still hang out, we can still be, but we can still go to multiple stores window shop, and maybe we buy later. Maybe we can buy in a month, buy in 2 months, or just wait for the next product line. Be like, it was a cool brand, but there was nothing for me right now. And the way I'm planning to do that is to basically build a website in person, and that's what this is supposed to feel like. So every brand you can see here, it's supposed to feel like a browser bar. So you can kind of, when you go in, you feel like you're clicking in the website, you're inside of it. But we're going to use those web metrics to help drive traffic and help understand where our clients are at, where we're at as a company, and where the brands can be. We can use things like lost carts, cart values, total traffic, the amount of time in each kiosk, and then to interact with each client, we're going to do it via QR code. We're not introducing new logistics to brands that don't have in-person retail. So if they don't have a spot where they're selling in person and want to work that, it's going to retarget back to existing websites. We don't need new things. We can use the websites. I think it's 63% of people are showrooming anyway. So this way, we're just taking out a step of having to stock and having to understand that, like, this is how many of these items we need, and we're not going to miss a sale. People know they're going to come in, and they're going to make that sale maybe in store, maybe in a month. And we're going to do that, like I said, we're going to use retargeting, because once we scan these QR codes, we're going to be able to see who these people are, or at a very least, the kind of traffic we're getting. Like I said, we're scrolling in person. That's that's the feel we're getting. I feel like pop-ups have become this piece that are so focused on one sale, because things like Shopify are involved, where they need that one sale to convert and make their world work. Where for me, it's let's focus on these brands. Let's grow the brands, make the brands work where they're at, and really become something more than just an item on a rack. So for what we're doing and how we're going to build it is I'm going to run it, like I said, like a website, a CPC model, where we can make these clicks worth a real amount of dollars instead of paying to stock items, paying for the stock itself. But yeah, I hope this makes sense to people, but I want to interact with all of you, and I hope we can chat further. Show a couple images.
Thank you, AJ. He will be here, so you can please feel free to talk to him afterwards. I want to make sure that we have adequate time to feature our main event. One of the things that struck us in our initial conversations with AJ was that he understands lots of different things: retail, interior design. You heard him say he was interning as a high school student in interior design, and marketing. And that's such a unique combination. And that is one of the things that led us to this concept and led us to think about how can we partner with this. And so we are looking at a couple of models together where, if you're not ready with a full suite of inventory and product to have your own exhibition in this space, which, by the way, is next to a major market that attracts hundreds of thousands of visitors a weekend, if you can't have your own full space, United Coulture will have a space that you can take part of. So this is just expanding our visibility in another market that has buying power, has people that are looking for unique items. So we can talk further about that. But I do not want to waste any more time. Not that what we weren't sharing with you wasn't valuable, but I really want to make sure we have tons of time to honor our amazing guest, Ruth Crowley. Yes. She is a visionary in customer experience design, retail strategy, brand development. She has had leadership roles in iconic companies like Lowe's, Harley-Davidson, Universal Studios, Hudson Group, and beyond. We are talking Fortune 50 to Fortune 500 companies. A powerhouse, if I can say. Her work is rooted in human-centric design, and she's known for creating emotionally resonant, strategically aligned experiences around global markets, from flagship stores to immersive brand environments. She brings decades of experience and a deep understanding of the evolving customer psyche, the power of collaboration, and the importance of designing with heart. So please join me in welcoming our special guest, Ruth Crowley.
Okay, just for the record, you're all a bit too quiet. That's it. Just saying. Like, the last time you did that, you made a baby cry. Just saying. So, just teasing. So listen, this is a beautiful group. And Brett's going to kill me, but what I'm going to do is reduce the time I talk so that you can talk. Because that's the purpose of the intercourse, isn't it? We're about being together and collaborating. So don't tell Brett, but I'm going to hopefully reduce what I'm saying so that you can ask me anything. There's nothing off the table. We're here together. We have a shared mission, and we're going to make it happen. That's it. But I am honored to be here and humbled to be in such illustrious company. I hate being too loud too, you can tell, right? So, Ruth, a simple four-letter word. So I would like to credit Brett and Emily and the team because they've invested a lot of heart and soul into this. There's an emotional equity in here that is going to be realized over time with you and with more local people like you in this community. They see a long-term vision, but they work literally from the heart, which is why I love them. They dream big so we can all fit into that dream. So we like that, and I call it connectional intelligence. We are all together as one to create something that hasn't been done before. The forum allows us to innovate. It creates moments. I think that the formula allows one of the light bulb moments, but in fact, innovation isn't that. It emerges out of intentional, rigorous thought, analysis, experience, collaboration, real intentionality, and a deep understanding and commitment to what we want to become. Because you guys, becoming is much better than being. You're already something already here. You're brilliant in your own way. But now we're going to become something even bigger and even better. And we're going to do that together through United Coulture. We start with what's the problem we're trying to solve? And I would always urge people, leaders and learners, to start with that. Don't rush to the answer, or, not that any of us would do this, assume that we know the answer, but ask the right questions so that you can get to a collective answer together. One of the things I love about what Secret said is that he's putting this together with Brett and Emily and the team for you. You're not going through a Shopify who's all about Shopify. This is all about you. And by the way, AJ, I've spent a lot of time the last 2.5 years in Chicago, and Fulton Market is the bomb. And you can create stuff there and create destinations, but what you'll get is connections. So it's back to that connectional intelligence. And then you have this ideation between analysis and innovation. It's not just about how it looks, about how does it work for you as a collective. And Elisa and Michael, I'm giving you my line again. Understand that collaboration is multiplication. Together, you have a power that you don't even know the full force of it yet, but you will, I guarantee you. And if you go to KPAC, you're definitely there. My goal is to add value tonight. Seriously, if I don't add some value, if I don't give you at least one bullet to take away, well, then I've failed. And it's not that something I like to do is fail. So hopefully you'll tell me at the end, oh yeah, you added something. You went faster. That's not the one I want, by the way. I want us to have a good time together. Brett told me to spend a lot of time on me, but you know what? It's up to you to figure out some of it together. You can ask me any questions after we talk about this, but I'll give a little skip through. Come from a large family. Most of you will realize this. This is where I realized I had to find my own unique voice to be heard. If you have 9 brothers and sisters, it's hard to be heard. So on the career side, I had a very intentional journey. I wanted to build pieces and parts to my own personal toolbox. And I would tell you honestly today that I'm still a work in progress. Michael has learned that this week. It's like, wow, you still have some work to do, girlfriend. I'm a continuing student, right? So we have to continue to do that. I've been very fortunate to work with some amazing brands. Some of the best in the world that thankfully saw something that maybe I could bring value to them. And to the young people, that's an intentional turn of phrase. It's, I could bring something. At the end of the day, a brand or a retailer or whoever doesn't really care about you specifically. They care about what you can do for them. And so if you can bring that, there's a shared outcome for you. But know that going in so that you can position and you can win, because I believe you can win. I started in fashion design and music. I've known Brett for 25 years. He didn't know that until the other night. And then when I came to America, it was to go to work in these diverse brands. I've been really intentional about it. I worked at Marriott, Universal Studios, Harley-Davidson, NASCAR. There's a lot of stories if you want some later. Some I can't tell. I can't tell on tape, right? But we can talk later. So we also worked with Nickelodeon and M&M Mars, Lowe's Home Improvement, and now Hudson, which is a division of Avolta, and together we're the largest travel retailer in the world, just nice and quietly taking over the travel experience. I was conscientious to diversify skills, which is kind of a message to you, and build a toolbox working whether it was in store operations, in concept design, product design, global business development, and brand strategy. I'm wondering if I should do this yet. Spent many years being a student in real time, and I'm still a student, so never stop learning. I had a unique skill set to bring to a brand, but the more unique ability was to adapt it wherever I was. So the ability to adapt your skill set to what you want to achieve, that's key. I wonder, what's next? Oh no, that's next. Go back. So at Universal, I was SVP over retail. We opened theme parks. We did everything in the theme park. Opened Orlando, and then fixed LA, and then went and opened something in Japan, and then did something in acquisition in Spain. Amazing team of people. Harley-Davidson, I remember it was funny when I first told my mother I was going to Harley-Davidson, because she said to me, "Are you sure? Are you safe with those people?" And she saw a picture of me on stage at a conference, one dressed in full leathers. And she was like, "Oh my God, it's all going downhill." Little did she know that this is one of the most iconic brands in the world, right? And here's the thing though, like you never assume anything. When I went to Harley-Davidson, again, an amazing team. I was part of the executive leadership team, but I head up the apparel business, licensing business, etc. And the first thing I noticed when I went to, those of you who are designers will relate to this, I'm working on the line plan, and people are coming and they're showing me this stuff and trying to be impressive. And I'm like, okay, but where's the narrative for this? No narrative. Like, what? So, no, there has to be a story. There has to be this connective tissue. You have to have a reason for being. We have to have a narrative. And they said, yeah, that's nice. Here's the designs. And okay, fine. So following meeting, I went to the team and presented to them. And I said, I want everyone just to sit and be quiet. Willie G. Davidson is there. He's still a very good, very dear friend, as is Bill, and the family are amazing. But the team sat, and I read them the narrative I had written, and there's tears. And then suddenly they realized that there was a reason for being. It wasn't just about creating stuff so you could tick a box. It was about creating something that connected the customer to the journey and the brand. So we did that, check. But the other thing was fit. And Brett knows this, because this is where Brett and I ran into one another first, is okay, so seriously. There was one fit, one size fits all. And who in this room believes that one size fits all? I mean, seriously. So, and one size fits all was a little more complicated there, because we were in the United States, we were in Asia, we were in Europe, we were in Latin America. The structure of the human form in Asia is very different than the structure in America, right? So cool. Then there was also, I wanted to do some technical functional writing there and some fashion, which is aspirational, just people who want to aspire to be with the brand. We did that, we corrected it. Those fit specs are still in play today. And there's 2 fit specs. There's one if you're riding, because obviously if you're riding, there's a different need. And if you want to just look seriously hip and cool, we're there for you, we've got it. We also did a lot of relationship building and listening. We can talk about that later and in some of our other sessions, because I don't want to put anyone to sleep tonight. However, everything we did, listening, collaborating, everything, results in the first 2 years, 46% up. The dealer network suddenly realized, wow, this chick is actually doing what she said she'd do. She talks funny, but she certainly is going to do what she said she'd do. And the dealer satisfaction went from about somewhere between 26 to 40 to an 86%. I was pretty proud of that one mostly. And our sales were in excess of $1 billion, that's what I can say. It's nowhere close to that today. But there's lots of fun stories here. The key, though, is not to stop. It's not to assume that you are, it's to continue in becoming. I have lots of fun stories. I could tell you stories about Hells Angels in Germany. That's one worth telling, but not on tape. And also about Elton John in Milwaukee. Another one, shh, don't tell anyone I said that. But I went to Nickelodeon to work with Nickelodeon as well as a lead consultant. Nickelodeon had a very simple task for me. They said, we want to create product for each of our licenses, whether it's SpongeBob or Paw Patrol, whatever it was. We were going to create all the product and design a store and open stores in Latin America, the Middle East, and London. Okay, excellent. In a year. Perfect, no problem. Again, a great team of people. We developed all the product. Half of our job turned into teaching the Viacom team about their own brands and how to convey those stories and those personalities and bring it to a way that makes you actually like them and relate to them. So brand integrity was really cool. Oh, by the way, in our spare time, could you also find partners who'd own and operate the stores? So we did that. Brand integrity was critical. But guess what was even more so? You know this already because you're human-centered, amazing. Cultural respect for the different markets. And so the biggest, most glaring piece for me was Latin America was one thing, and it's always fun when you're there, you're the girl, the room of men. Sorry, guys, it's no disrespect, but that's what happened. And they're speaking one language, and I'm speaking whatever it is I speak with an accent. And we got along beautifully because we respected each other and we took ourselves through it. But in the Middle East, it was a completely different thing. Imagine being the only woman in the mall because no women work in the stores, it's all men, and it's me. So here's me going in. I had to get specific approval from the leader of the church there, and we went in and we did it, we got it done. But respecting the culture and embracing the culture and adapting some of the elements in the store to the culture became the win for us. We also did an amazing project with M&M's. So who doesn't love chocolate in here? I don't want to know. So I was lead consultant there with M&M's, and the trick there was we sell chocolate, okay, perfect. How do you convert chocolate lentils to characters, right? So, okay, cool. We created the M&M characters. Long story short, brought it to market. We developed the store, enhanced the store in Las Vegas, developed the store in New York, and then they wanted to go to London. But London didn't want M&M's because M&M is an American brand. Doesn't play in London. I'm like, well, hang on a second, dude. Fun plays everywhere. Chocolate is universal. What's going on? So we went in, met the guy. Not coincidentally, the developer is Irish. So it's me and him. And he's completely adamant there will be no M&M here. It's an American brand. No, hang on a second. So I went to my narrative. I implore you, if you're a young designer, if you're an existing designer, if you're a continuing designer, whatever you're doing, create your own narrative. I'm going to come to that in a minute. But chocolate-covered lentils became the big thing. Of course, I told such a compelling story to the guy in London. I said, we have to create something that people want to tell people about. And up until today, it's still one of the highest producing stores on Leicester Square. Now, anyone who doesn't believe in fun, I never said this, but anyone who doesn't believe in fun, the M&M World Store does an average of $30 million a pop. So fun works. I was in NASCAR, I was president in NASCAR, and the biggest concern people had when I went to NASCAR was, okay, NASCAR, you. Good old boy network, not sure that's going to work. And the lights went down. So listen, the biggest thing for me wasn't the good old boy network, because these people, and I still have relationships with some of the drivers and some of the race teams today, it was about the relationships. It was about building trust. It was about telling the truth, fundamentals of what all of us want to do in United Culture. My reason for leaving was a very interesting one, because I wouldn't compromise ethics. And we'll talk about that offline, we'll talk about it some more. But the key is to maintain that and to work with people, do what you say you'll do. Lowe's, Fortune 50 company. Again, here's me back in North Carolina. That was my last time. I knew it was either going to be a fresh start or a dirty finish in Lowe's, so you could ask which was it. It was somewhere in between. But anyway, I had an amazing team. And here's the thing, like, the first objective we had was to convince people that human-centered design methodology could not only improve the experience for the customer, it could drive traffic to the website, drive traffic to the store, make people happier, more content. We did a lighting study for our store associates that improved their average productivity by about 80%, and the people being away from work because they were sick went down by half. We did stuff like that. Now, we had to convince people. We started everything, and I beg you to think about this, but what's the problem we're trying to solve? That's the big question. It helps keep everybody focused. It helps have one unified objective. And then solve the problems that matter the most. That was easier said than done, but we got it done and we became more effective. Everybody's on board, everything is going great. The executive team changes. Excellent, here we go again. So the new CEO was my living embodiment of the phrase, the more we know, the harder it is to learn. You think you know, but you actually really don't. So you stop learning because you think you know. So I'll give you an example quick. I was he wanted to do something in the front of the store. Again, I had an amazing team. I don't take credit for it, but I had an amazing team. And we worked together to create a prototype. We went to the design center and showed him, here, dude, here's what you wanted. It looks really good. And he's thrilled. Yes, see how right I was. It's beautiful. Hooray for me. Well, I said, okay, just hang on a second. If you'll trust me for a few minutes, I'd like to take you to the room behind us. And my boss almost had a heart attack, by the way. She was like, woof. But I said, just trust me on this. I said to her, it's either perfect or is it perfectly good enough? Because it's going to change and evolve over time. I promised my team, and please, if you're a team leader, please do this sometimes for your team. I promised them that I'd stand in front of them if there was a bullet to be had. That was my bullet. If people generally liked it, I'd stand beside them to help them tell the story and present their work in an effective way. But if it was all going really well and he was buying in, well, by goodness, I was going to stand behind them and push them forward so that they could take credit for the work, right? It's important, right? Thank you for that. Amen. I had shared with the team that life is a learning laboratory. I would say that to not just the youngest people in the room, but to all of us in the room. Every day is a learning day. And of course, minds are parachutes. They only function when open, right? So keep the mind open. One of the things Brett said to me is that, you have to give a few cool takeaways. You have to give a couple. So I'll give you a couple, and then if you want more, I'll get them for you. But I'm going to target a few of them to you because you're kind of a cool group. I would say one of the first ones I'd ask you is, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? See that, what just happened? Mind racing. The other one I would beg you to think about is, as a leader, I mentioned this to Elisa earlier too, is do you want to make a name or you want to make a mark? The more sustainable legacy will be if you make a mark, obviously, but how many of us have met people who just want to make a name for themselves, be in the front, take credit for everything, and then get out of here? Not my kind of people, but that's okay. The other one, and you heard some of the guys say this already, is to simplify and unify the process to amplify results. Simplify and unify to amplify. It's a great way to go. You're always pushing, of course. And push, of course, translates to persist until something happens. It sounds like a random activity, but it's actually not. Because if you keep moving forward, then it means that there's motion and you're getting to where you want to go. But remember that continuation is more important than activation. I've watched so many people, whether it's designers, retailers, leaders, who start and they want to tick the box. Oh yeah, I told Brett I'd finish that, and now it's done and I tick the box. But the continuation is where the real money and real heart comes to life. And so that's a thing because it's a process, not an event. I love something that Winston Churchill says. He said something, courage is what it takes to stand up and speak, but it's also what it takes to sit down and listen. I've spent a lot of time sitting down and listening to help people move forward. So let's talk about, you can see me later, we can chat a little bit, and we'll be back because this is a growing exercise. It's not a one-stop shop, it's a journey, not a destination. But let's talk about something more interesting, which is you, right? Who are you? This cartoon is great. I hope you're never in this position. Like where it says on here is, where do you see yourself stuck 5 years from now? And so there's somebody in this room who started as a financial expert, really amazing financial expert, realized that maybe I'm not that happy and I'm really fantastic at designing some luggage, and she might have changed that. She didn't want to be stuck anywhere in 5 years or 10 years. She wanted to continuously evolve as a human. I would beg you to take some time, give some time to yourself to say, what do you want to be? What is brand you? And how would you define it? I bet you if I was to go around the room, you couldn't really kind of tell me right now, but you're going to do it after this because it changes your life in a very amazing way. And here's why. Because you can define what your core principles are. What are your pillars? What's the structure of your building that's called you? And then what are the guiding principles within that framework? Here's my big one. What are my non-negotiables? What is non-negotiable to you? No, I'm not going to lie to this customer because I'm not going to tell them it's going to be delivered in December because it's not going to come until middle March. What are your non-negotiables? And then beg you to just live your values. Your mindset is everything. And we'll plan more time in the future. I know that the team here has, but set time to define the brand you are and your path forward. I love this image because sometimes you kind of feel that way, don't you? It's like, oh. At the end of the day, your brand is a reflection of you. And since most of you are individual artists and entrepreneurs and spirits of free thought and people who help people and just you have this collective community, I would say that your brand has to be a reflection of you, your tone of voice. You personify the vision, but it comes literally from here. It comes from your heart. This is your canvas. Make it the most amazing thing ever. But it has to be very intentional. It doesn't just happen. You have to think big, scale small maybe, but be smart. And remember that it's not a story of one. It's not a one-time thing. It's not one outfit. It's not one thing. It's not one Fulton Market. It's several times at Fulton Market. It's not one shot on the website. It's several. And it's about, if you don't have a plan, it would be like going on a journey without a GPS system. So as you evolve personally and professionally, you'll also change and modify. But if you have your brand map and your brand you, it helps define what you want to be when you grow up, and it helps define the principles. Trust. Oh gosh, see, I have to be careful here because we're being recorded, and yeah, that's a situation. So let's just say that trust is a very difficult reality, and I beg you give it sparingly, which is totally against my natural human instinct. I want to trust everyone, and I've learned not to. Now, Brett, Emily, and I can share stories that would literally, as I say to Brett, curl your hair, they're so bad. But as we spend more time together, we'll learn how to kind of balance the trust quotient. I would beg you, proceed with caution. I'll give you a story that some of you will relate to, maybe more than some of you. I have a group of designers. Group of designers is met by this person at an event. Person asks, come on to New York, show me your designs, show me this. I'll introduce you to this one. I'll introduce you to that. I'll get you orders with this. I'll do this, I'll do that. Okay, great. When they got to New York, they put all the money in, they paid their own way, they did what they did. But they get to New York and it was all about the person doing the event. The 100% polar opposite of what these guys here are trying to do in United Coulture. These designers wound up getting no impact of it. But someone used them to mix their message. They were clearly making a name, not a mark, right? But we don't want you to get through any of that. It's one of the reasons why I love what Socrates said. His idea is making the whole website, or making the web connection, the digital connection with the customer. It's humanizing the digital connection in order so that you can tell your story effectively. But please, beg you, commit not to compromise your values. Surround yourself with people who share your values, and stay away from negativity. I said to Michael earlier this week, negativity is so contagious, it's toxic. And so for me, it's always about, I would actually say, do you either fix the problem or do you just hopefully avoid them happening at all? Option B, please, thank you very much. And for every single process, just be present. Yeah, as you look at your own value proposition, I would say prefer a cost framework that includes your value of time. Often we say, oh my gosh, a jacket like this is about $150 here, so I have to be at $150. No, no, no. Your jacket is unique. Your jacket is uniquely yours. It's a one of a kind. Time is the only currency you spend without ever knowing your balance. That's beautiful, isn't it? I'm telling you, that was great. I'll tell you more about that. But this is a topic also for future learning, right? We'll help at other events, but factor in all the elements. You are one of a kind. We want you to understand what's your North Star and to balance these rational competencies with the cognitive capabilities. Sometimes this is really hard for me to learn, but sometimes the most difficult answer is no. And sometimes the most difficult word is help. And so don't be afraid to ask for help. This is one of the most beautiful things about United Coulture, is that there's people here to help. Make sure you have a mentor, someone to speak, call you off the ledge, or someone to just be a cheerleader. Or I said to Brett last night, you know, sometimes we need a Sherpa to help guide us up the mountain. And let's do that, because the tragedy of life doesn't lie in not reaching your goal, but in not having a goal to reach. That would be tragic. And what you get by achieving your goals, and some of the ladies here in the front know this, is not as important as what you become by achieving your goals. And please, please, please never give up on your goal, because it's valuable and it's valid and it's important and it's part of your heart, it's part of who you are. If you gave up just because of a setback, that would be, I say to people, it's like slashing your other 3 tires because you have a flat in one. It's like, doesn't make sense. So every day is day one. That's how I live my life. Every day is day one. And you can start tomorrow and but create a brand new ending. And keep evolving, keep learning. Change is a door that can only be opened from the inside. As people, creatives, I would beg you to consider that all the time. What I would ask you is, I know it won't be easy, but I can guarantee you it'll be worth it. Now, hopefully, I've added just a little bit of value to this evening together, and we'll hope to work with you in the future. But if you have any questions, I'm completely open.
There's a microphone right here, so if you have questions, please.
Oh, no, I'm going to
come
take that
on
up a level. I'm going to bring the microphone down to you. I'm coming to ask questions. Okay, come on. No, we're friends here. Come on, it's a small, intimate group. Let's go. I'll repeat your question. I didn't get caught up in the fact that I was a woman. It's how did I not get too scared of the fact that I was with Harley and NASCAR, and it's mainly a male-dominated business. It was just to find my place. And it was also, I have one of 9 kids. I'm not going to be intimidated easily, you know? And I was raised by nuns as well. Yeah, no, I learned how to defend myself. It's not an easy path. But guess what? Here's what I really found, is that if you went in and didn't allow that to be a barrier and presented yourself as authentic and with facts and with all of those constituents, I did exactly what I promised to do. They saw that I didn't come in just as, you know, I'm going to change this and I listened intently and shared with them this is what I hear, this is what I believe we need, and this is what I'd like to do. Let me work on that and I'll come back to you. And the trust became the foundation of the future success. There's not a person that I met or worked with in NASCAR or Harley-Davidson, frankly, Nickelodeon, is that I can't call up today. I can call up the drivers, I can call up the teams, and we built a trust, and I wouldn't compromise that. I was asked, but I wouldn't compromise the trust. And so it's a little daunting. You have to behave yourself in a way that you come across as strong, but not arrogant. I'm sorry, I'm going to say a bad word. Because if women come across, you know, if a man comes in and he's all macho, you know, that's acceptable. If a woman comes in like that, she's something that begins with a B, and it's not beautiful, okay? So you have to balance that path, you know, but also deliver on your promises. It's a great question, but nobody intimidates me. Everybody is a person at the end of the day, and if we come as equals, and I can always deliver more than they can, cool, or men. That's it. Okay, come on, you're going to ask me a question. Yes, you are. Come on, I know there's one in there. Okay. Yes, I can hear you, and I'll repeat your
We
question.
are recording this so that those who couldn't join
dear.
us can benefit from this knowledge.
That's
so.
why I have to behave myself, you guys.
Okay, so I hope this is an appropriate question for you. In comparison to other larger cities that have maintained their dominance in the retail industry, fashion, manufacturing, design, considering that St. Louis has been trying to get back in the game, can you summarize what you think we need to do as a collective in cross industries to get back in the game and be as amazing as New York and Chicago and LA?
It's a great question, and thank you for giving me a hard question. So listen, people in New York 90% of them are from somewhere else, right? People in Chicago, half of them came from somewhere else. The beauty of this, and I don't mean this to sound, you know, patronizing, but is you have sponsors here who are very eager to put the collective together and make it happen. In Chicago, I know several fashion designers there, and still they're fighting to make their voice heard. But here's what I believe with every single fiber of my being, is that if you put a collective story together, and that's why I call it connectual intelligence, You put your story together, you, I have no doubt, will come forth with a compelling proposition that will make people look. You'll surprise the hell out of people because you have something that's different and unique. It's uniquely you, which is why I beg you to create a brand you statement. And then come together as a collective, and then suddenly you show up at KPAC Center. Where did these people come from? Are they from New York? Nobody knows. And you go to the Fulton Market in Chicago. You go on this beautiful website. Suddenly you begin to make a name. But more important, you create your mark. And you create your mark not as just as from St. Louis, but as a collective who came together to tell a story that's unique and present something to the world that they clearly need, they just didn't know it, and work together to get it done. I can't say enough, and I don't mean it to sound cliche because I've learned it really in the best way, is the collaboration is multiplication. There's only so many of you, and there's another 50 or 100 people who will join this, and then there's people who care about it, not the least of whom is Brett and Emily. And I'm telling you that your voice will be louder than some of the small design communities in Chicago. 100%. It's up to you. You're the driver. Okay, Michael, you scare me now.
No, you scare me. I'm kidding. Thank you for this, for your wisdom and sharing with us. You mentioned a toolbox when you were starting out and kind of like diversifying. And I'm curious about that toolbox, what you initially thought was important to have, and if you discovered things maybe changed, and if the house is burning down, what are your tools that you're grabbing first, if that metaphor makes any sense?
Your house will never burn down because you have a plan. And you have a story that's going to protect you from fire because you've insulated yourself with your story and with your reason for being, right? You and I are going to be friends. I just say it. Yeah, we did. We grew up with nuns. That's the reason. That's the reason we survived the fire. Yeah. So, Michael, I really, really believe it's one of the reasons why, and we had a little chat this week, honored to meet Michael and spend time with him, but the key is, what is your story? What do you want to be? Because if you have your own navigation strategy for brand you, it helps protect you from the noise outside and protect you from the fires that are going to come after you to either steal your idea or steal your brand, the latest little design creation you had. And I don't believe, my toolbox was different because, first of all, I was a girl in Ireland and was told at the time, because I'm old, that, you know, you can't do that because you're a girl. Women don't do that. Women do this. And I'm like, yeah, okay, right. No. So I went and I had to do a learning journey and adapt some of what I thought I know into America. So I thought it'd be great to learn about store operations, amazing to learn about how the visual merchandising impacts the, 98% of messages that go to the brain are visual. So how do you leverage that to tell a story? Store design, I went to those because I knew at the end, here's what I want to do and impact. And at the end of the day, I also want to help create communities. I want to give validity to communities and not have them undersized or undermined because of their chosen path. And so my toolbox was different. I had a mission, and so far so good. I'm a continuing student. I'm a work in progress, you guys, seriously. But the key is that, how did I do that? For someone with your sheer skill, and you guys here at Reed, what is it that you want? What are your core principles? What is your framework? What are the non-negotiables? Huge. And then, not that this will happen to any of us, but then in 5 years' time, something changes a little. You could have a life change, you could have a whatever change, and then evolve it. Check in every time and see, are these principles still the same? It helps to avoid fires, Michael. I think that you're building the framework with the protection that you have against yourself and your heart and your soul means that there's nothing is going up in flames except when someone sees your stuff and they feel like it's fireworks on 4th of July.
Thank you.
We have a question from one of our people that's we are live streaming this. So someone from online is asking, what advice would you give to a young entrepreneur that is just getting started, having recently graduated from college?
One of the best things I do actually is in one of my spare times, I work at the University of North Texas. It's a college of retail, digital retail, and we set up a program for customer experience design. And I love students because no one helped me when I was younger. They really kind of couldn't care less. But what I made a point of was that I'd try and help coach and counsel. So the first thing I do is say, what is it that you want to be? What do you want to be when you grow up? And I have a lot of young people say to me, oh yeah, I want to be a designer, I want to be a buyer. Anyone in this room I know, because I've met some of you, is like they used to be a buyer, I thought that was like kind of the glam job and that. And I'm like, okay, hang on a second. You know that you have to do buy plans and you know that you have to do analysis and oh no, I don't want to do that. I just want to go to Asia. So the thing would be to what do you want to be? And then lay out a plan. By the way, if your goal is to be a designer with X, you may want to go, and I've done this with some of the students in Texas and New York and in Florida, was go and test a few jobs too to make sure that you like it. Because what you might find is that you're in the middle of a designing piece, and you might find that you actually love the brand strategy, you love the storytelling, you love this. And so start on a journey of exploration. And then land, and then do your brand you. I would beg you, please, 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 think about you. Structure the future path with you in mind, because you are just one of a kind, you are unique, and you deserve to give yourself that time. And then be prepared to change it. Don't be afraid to fail. I say, holy cow, if I was to count the number of times we failed, failure is proof that you're still trying, right? So if you fail at something, try again. You may decide that you failed, but it was actually an amazing lesson. This doesn't fit me, my DNA, I may want to go somewhere else. That's what I'd recommend, and I hope that's helpful. And thank you for joining online and asking a question online. And you're welcome to send something over to Emily and the team. And if we can add something later, we definitely will.
There are people that want to know how to find you on socials. Do you have Instagram or
I do, yeah.
LinkedIn or?
Yeah, I have all that.
Okay.
Also, so introvert, it's not even funny. So what we'll do is we'll share it with the team after this. Is that okay with you, Brett? You and Emily can change it, because I want it to be connected to United Culture. I want it to be united, a unified process, so that we can amplify the results. Big question for you, because you're sitting there enjoying yourself way too much. Now, I know that you're also dying for another drink, so big question I have for you is, have we added value to you tonight? Yes? This lady here is so nice and so sweet, and you've done my heart good, because she said, you've made me feel something, and there's times when I want to cry. Your potential is so beautiful. That's what brought the tears to your eyes. I just helped you find those tears. I just helped you find what's there. At the end of the day, we're landscape gardeners. We lay out a plan. I'm telling you, you're going to do something great. We're landscape gardeners. We create a plan, and then we watch it grow after we walk away. That's the beauty of it. And I promise you, if you go and create this framework for yourself, you'll find things in there that you didn't even know existed, because guess why? You're allowing yourself to let your voice be heard. One last question in the back. Did you have a question? You do? Okay, awesome. Okay, cool.
I'm Emily,
This is Michelle.
podcast co-host, so my statement will be 52 minutes.
Okay, we don't have time for that.
No,
'cause
but
we have drinks.
what I wanted to tell, I'm so excited about what Emily and Brett are doing with United Coulture, and I think the fact that we're in St. Louis is the benefit. You have access to people just at the end of your fingertips that you wouldn't get in a larger community. So if you can like remove the stigma of, well, we're not Atlanta, we're not Nashville, we're not Chicago, and take that away and really realize who you have right here, you can catapult yourself much faster to where you want to get to because we're in St. Louis. And we need to celebrate the fact that St. Louis is accessible and there's so much fucking talent in this community.
You're small but mighty. Listen to me, I'm here talking to you from Dublin, Ireland. I was told you can't really get in that plane because you're a girl and, you know, you can't do that. And I've worked with some of the best brands in the world because of a strong belief. And you're small but mighty. Here's what you're not small. The hearts in this room are huge, and the collective you is powerful. So I'd say you're going to bring your power to the bigger city, to the bigger location, to the bigger audience by working together to make it happen.
Absolutely.
There it is.
You know the night's a success when there's opportunity for bleeping in the conversation. I'm going to keep this really short because I know everybody wants, as Ruth said, another drink, and we want to, of course, have more conversation with Ruth. Just real quickly, a couple things. As far as what's next for us, I have a QR code. As far as our memberships, we talked about last time, what is membership going to look like? We have tiers for everybody, like people who are new in the industry, a student, people who are established, people who are ready to scale. If you're an educator, we've thought about it. And it comes with access to ongoing education, mentorship, everything. So we have thought about our membership levels. That's right here. If you have feedback, please share. I'll let you take a photo. And we can pull it up afterwards too and make sure you have it. I also have a QR code right here if you want to apply to exhibit in our gilded market. I really hope you do. And it doesn't matter what facet of the industry you represent, there's space for you. So please apply. As far as upcoming events, we are on this trend of every 2 months doing something together. Obviously, 2 months from now is our gilded market, so that's where you'll see us. And then we will be back here in January on the 22nd. It'll be another surprising evening. If you have any questions, I'm here for you. If you have any insights, thoughts, I'm here. Here's my information. Here's how you get a hold of me. And let's enjoy the rest of the evening together. Thank you.